They keep saying that the economy is going to get worse, and all 600 major companies are talking about declining sales. They say this is the worst time. So it's even worse than during the IMF crisis. They say it's even worse than during the financial takeover. So, hello, nice to meet you. This is Kim Ki-hyun from Richgo.
You mentioned that you've never done this before. You're just going to hold a free lecture.
On Tuesday, December 17th, at 8 p.m., I'll be giving a special lecture for 1 hour. If you miss this, it's over.
As far as I know, you've given a lot of lectures through membership, but this is the first time you're doing it for free, right?
No, there isn't.
Why are you doing? Is this being generous?
It's not just generosity. I do have a bit of a personal interest in this, but how can it be just generosity? I do have a bit of selfishness. It's true that those who have invested have received much more generosity. People hear the things I talk about on YouTube, and they may think that defines Kim Ki-hyun. I created Richgo to improve real estate investing. I invested with Richgo, and the discussions are more advanced than on YouTube. And actually, I have made various investments with Richgo, and I am currently running a fairly high value membership. So there is a big difference between what is discussed there and what is discussed on YouTube.
It's on a different level.
I can't share everything here because with stocks, I can talk about it freely and buy properties in the market anytime. But with real estate, it's not the same. Sharing deep information about real estate publicly carries a lot of risks. But why am I holding this special lecture again on Tuesday, November 17th at 8 p.m.? I'm talking about it. In 2025, the real estate market is at the end, 2021. Then it's very similar to the end of 2007. So what does that mean? If you look at the real estate markets of 2008 and 2022, what's happening is that it's going to happen again in 2025. But if you look at 2008 and 2020, the real estate market dropped significantly. It was almost a level close to a crash. It dropped significantly. And that's why I clearly pointed out back in October 2021 that we had a once-in-a-decade selling opportunity. I really nailed it. Of course, some high-priced areas like Gangnam and Seocho have recovered their key points, but for the majority of areas, they don't even come close to recovering. So the timing is exactly right. But I believe that time was a perfect selling opportunity, and I think that around 2025, or at the latest by 2026, it will be a perfect buying opportunity. So the reason many people watch RichgoTV is that they're really thinking about how to make data-driven decisions for buying their own homes. They're really concerned about that, and that's what Kim Ki-hyun is here for. It's not just talk. I'm sharing various insights based on data, and because of that trust, many people have been showing me love. I believe it's going to last about an hour. Since it's free, I think that's why a lot of people are interested. On the 21st, I'm also holding a paid lecture, and that one is almost full with 80 people already signed up for the offline session. Yes, I prepared this lecture because I really want more people to access good information for free. In 2025, a lot of different variables will be coming into play. Interest rate cuts have already begun, and with Trump entering the 2.0 era, we don't know what will happen next. But prices are still very high. So 2025 is going to be a market with very high difficulty.
It's a person with high difficulty?
It's tough. So it's going to be a really tough market. And paradoxically, because the market is tough, there are opportunities that the general public can't see, which can lead to the rise of the asset class. I started the membership in 2024, and currently we have about 200 members participating. Some of them are already doing plus fee investments. Plus fee investment means real estate opportunities. These chances will grow in the future. Upcoming opportunities may multiply your asset by 10 times within the next 5 years. In 2021, I mentioned a once-in-a-decade selling opportunity. However, the government intervened to stop it. We had brief rebounds in 2023 and 2024. In 2025, things will change. The great opportunity I awaited is likely to start appearing sometime in 2025. So, I mentioned that in 2021, we had a once-in-a-decade selling opportunity and I thought we might see something similar in 2022. However, the government forcibly intervened to stop that decline. As a result, we had two short-term rebounds in 2023 and 2024. But I believe that by 2025, the game will change a lot. So, I think the incredible opportunity I've been waiting for a long time is likely to start appearing sometime in 2025. So for those who are interested, when is it? On Tuesday, December 17th at 8 p.m. If you can't make it, then there's no other chance. I'm not going to do this, even if it's public. That's it. That's it. Since this is the end, if you're really interested, you need to come in at that time to hear this. That's the only chance you'll have to listen. Since it's free, this is the only opportunity. So I really hope those who are interested can join us. There's a link in the pinned comment. So just click that link and you can sign up.
Let me explain how to participate again briefly. If you comment on the link, you'll immediately see the participation screen.
Yes, the pinned link.
The pre-registration link, you don't participate.
Sure, let me show you for a moment.
While you're looking for that, you'll also be discussing future projections for 2025 using big data, right? So will you be sharing investment opportunities then?
Since we have an hour, I'll do my best to prepare. Got it.
Showing the screen helps understanding.
If you click on the pinned link, this will come up. So if you click on the registration button, everything you need is right here on the right, so it's not difficult. So if you join us, we'll create a great lecture that will give you good opportunities for the upcoming 2025.
Yes, it's December 17th. Make sure to remember that I hope you can turn the crisis of 2025 into an opportunity. Please participate in the comments.
If you look at the recent news, there are a lot of really depressing stories, right? Today, another shocking indicator has come out, stating that it's been 50 years since we've seen such a prolonged period of poor business conditions. Let's take a look at what this is all about. Let's take a look. The Korea Economic Association conducts and publishes a survey called the Business Conditions Survey Index, targeting the top 600 companies based on sales. So, since these are the top 600 companies by sales, in a way, they represent the Korean economy. This is the Business Conditions Survey Index for companies that account for the majority of sales. As you can see, since April 2022, it has been below the baseline of $100 for 33 consecutive months, indicating that the business sentiment among companies has been in a prolonged downturn. So, the top 600 companies, based on sales, are all saying the economy is going to keep getting worse. But just how bad is it that it's been below the baseline for 33 consecutive months? Since the Business Conditions Survey started in January 1975, they've been conducting this survey for 50 years. But when it's the worst period in the last 50 years, they say this is the worst ever. It's worse than during the IMF crisis. They say it's worse than during the financial crisis. So, the news articles are saying that the economy, as felt by businesses, is really at its worst history. I'm more worried about the situation moving forward. And at the end of November, the production, consumption, and investment indicators for October were released. And it turns out that all of them have decreased. So production is decreasing, and then consumption is decreasing, and investment is decreasing as well. And so if you look at the details, production in semiconductors and finance insurance has gone up a bit, but in the automotive and retail sectors, it's all gone down. So you can see that the automotive and retail sectors are really not doing well. Overall, production is decreasing because people aren't consuming. Since people aren't consuming, production can't increase. Right now, consumption is decreasing. Sales of non-durable goods and semi-durable goods have seen a slight increase, but the decline in durable goods is quite significant. Right now, consumption is decreasing. Sales of non-durable goods and semi-durable goods have seen a slight increase, but the decline in durable goods quite significant. So overall, consumption is shrinking again in this situation. Investment is currently the most serious issue, with both facility investment and construction investment all declining. So production, consumption, and investment. Everything is continuously getting worse right now, which is why we call it a triple decline. Everything is in a bad situation. The only thing that's somewhat supporting the Korean economy is exports, which have been positive for 14 months now. So while exports are still in the positive, it's positive. How does the growth trend look? The growth rate peaked in July of this year, and then it has been falling continuously in August, September, October, and November. So how much has the growth rate dropped? It's dropped to 1.4%. At least semiconductors have increased by 31%, which has helped a lot. Exports have been boosted a lot, but overall, the growth rate of exports has significantly decreased. And some people see it positively, that we're running a trade surplus. But the important thing is that imports are also decreasing. So if you look at it, the import growth rate has been continuously falling, and in November, imports themselves are now decreasing. So even imports are decreasing. Now we're entering a period of significant decline, which is why we're currently seeing a trade surplus. Many people are referring to this as a recession type surplus. So exports and imports are both currently declining together. So if it seems like the situation will improve in the future, companies usually increase their investments during tough times, which helps boost the economy and create jobs. But the problem right now is, it is said that 7 out of 10 large corporations have no investment plans for next year or are currently undecided. Large companies are struggling. They say it's the worst situation in 9 years. 58.5% of large companies plan to cut their investment next year. More companies reducing investments. Next year, they plan to implement austerity measures and restructuring. About 60% of large companies are doing this. It seems the situation is going to get really tough next year. Friends at large companies say the current situation is really scary. They scrutinize projects and push for restructuring if anything is wrong. The situation is serious. About 60% of large companies are doing this, so it seems like the situation is going to get really tough next year. Friends at large companies say the current situation is really scary. They scrutinize projects and push for restructuring if anything is wrong. The situation is serious. Looking at exports, South Korea is a country that relies heavily on export. It seems like the situation getting really serious right now. If we look at the export situation through other articles, as you all know, South Korea is a country that relies heavily on exports. So we can say that the South Korean economy ultimately relies on exports, and the biggest shares of those exports come from China and the United States. But if you look here, this red line represents, this is the export amount from China, and the blue line represents the export amount from the United States. As you can see, China's export figures peaked in 2021, and they have been continuously declining in 2022, 2023, and 2024. Now, who has been filling in the gap from this decline in exports? As you can see, the United States has been increasing its exports from 2021 through 2023, somewhat compensating for China's drop. Overall, things were looking okay. But so, what's the situation looking like for November 2024? The US hasn't really seen any increase in exports either. Actually, has slightly decreased. In the case of China, exports have also decreased. So, what's going on right now? Exports to the US and China are completely stalled right now. So it's definitely a concerning situation right now. But I really think the real problem isn't now. It's going to be in 2025. Because as you all know, Trump has been elected president. And once he takes office, he's been giving some serious warnings. So China and Russia are 100% in chaos as they challenge the dollar's dominance. They're going to pose tariffs now. If the US does that to China or Russia, then China and Russia will just sit back and take it. And for South Korea, which somehow has to survive by exporting in the middle of all this, it seems like a much more critical situation is unavoidable. It's really going to hit hard. And Trump has given some really terrifying warnings, saying that he will sequentially impose tariff bombs. So they plan to triple tariffs by 2026. They plan to triple the tariffs. This is definitely going to be a huge blow to the South Korean economy, which relies on exports to survive. So I really think that next year Trump's influence is going to be huge. So Trump really starts imposing these tariffs. If Korea's exports collapse, and if exports, which were the only source of support in a situation where domestic demand and investment have already completely collapsed, turn negative and decrease, I think the real path for the Korean economy in 2025 will be very difficult. And this is already reflected in the stock market and perhaps, lastly, in the real estate market as well. I think it might have a negative impact. Let me summarize. Content once again. The business outlook has been in decline for 33 consecutive months. This is the longest period. The statistics were compiled in 1975. So it's a situation that's even more serious than during the IMF or financial crisis. And right now, we're seeing a triple decline in production, consumption, and investment. Exports are still increasing, but the growth rate has dropped significantly, now down to around 1%. And in November, exports to China and the US have also slowed down. Even large companies are tightening their belts and restructuring, and 70% of them have no investment plans for next year. Trump warns of 2025 tariff bombs potentially impacting export companies and threatening South Korea's economy. Gangnam real estate stays strong due to US stock and crypto investments. If these falter in 2025, Gangnam real estate could suffer. The economy feels like it's sinking, with more properties, including Gangnam apartments, going to auction. 2025 requires focusing on risk management, not wealth growth. Investing in US stocks and cryptocurrencies is still good, so some people can grow their assets. Properties in the upper part of Gangnam remain stable. However, if in 2025 US stock prices or virtual assets decline, then even the real estate in the 3 districts of Gangnam may be impacted. It seems our economy is declining, and as a result, the number of auctions is rising. Properties, including apartments in the 3 districts of Gangnam, are more often auctioned. I believe 2025 is crucial for risk management. It's time to protect, not grow, our asset. 2025 is vital for asset protection. I think it might have a negative impact, and overall, our economy is slowly sinking into a swamp, which is why the number of auctions is increasing significantly. So, in the 3 districts of Gangnam, the number of apartments going up for auction is continuously rising. I really think that 2025 is a time when we need to focus on risk management more than ever. This isn't the time for us to be trying to grow our money. 2025 is going to be a really important year for protecting our assets. One of the really good ways to protect your assets is to hold a significant portion of them in dollars. You could do this through dollar deposits or stock investments, but that can be risky. So if you buy a good amount of dollars safely, it might help hedge against the potential risks that could be coming. I think we can do it. Wow, it's already the end of the year. There's less than a month left in 2024. As we wrap up this precious year of 2024, I truly hope that you all have a lot of good things coming your way and that you have a happy end of the year. With that, I'll conclude today's broadcast. Thank you.